Welcome in, Gyms and Gymettes. Welcome back. It's been a minute. I don't even know the last time we did one of these bad boys. Another exciting edition of No Substitute for Sports. I'm your host, Nick Johnson. Like I said, this is episode, I don't know, whatever. We're gonna, it's a new season, season 2 of No Substitute for Sports. That's what we're gonna go ahead and do here. And yes, did I just come up with that on the spot? Why not? Kind of think about that in the backlog. Thank you as always for tuning in for No Substitute for Sports on the Generals Network YouTube page. Welcome back. We're getting back in the swing of things. It's been a long time. A lot of dog teams. We were busy. Adulting shit happens. College football came out. It's been all that and tons more. So let's go ahead and do that. You can follow us on Twitter at Generals. Every Thursday we go live. I'm basically on twitch.tv/SportsTownShy every single day. We're going to be might switching that up soon too. Might be going on StreamYard. We'll see how that goes. We might be also doing some flips over there as well. And then also on YouTube as well, XBomb Sports. Follow us there for Bad Karma Wrestling, all the pro wrestling talk with my boy Double D, David Dykstra, all that tons more in between. So much to talk about. Oh, hold on, let's
So
do that
much,
again. Hold on, let's do that
so
again. We're rusty. We're rusty. We'll do that again. So
so
much to
much to
talk
talk
about.
about. So
So much
much
to
to
talk
talk
about.
about.
Oh fuck. Well, okay, that's okay. We'll do it's okay. We're getting in the swing of things, Mike. It sucks, but it's gonna be a fun one. It's gonna be a nice and loose one. We see how we're already acting. We got tons of stuff to talk about. There's college football. We're gonna be reminiscing about all the things we've been watching on the telly and on the big screen, movie wise. I kind of have uh, maybe not again, not a change of what's going on here, but just a new understanding. Maybe a rebranding of what we want to do here. We'll see how it goes. Uh, Talking about that, we got some Bears, we got some Packers stuff, we got some time. We'll do some wrestling and MLB trade deadline. We got tons of stuff to do. But without further ado, let me introduce to you my friend and co-host, the founder and CEO of Fat Cat underscore streams. And then that's with a Z, Mikey J Fat Cat. How are you doing tonight on this rainy night, actually?
Rainy night, very rainy. I'm doing great. I'm
That was great.
it's
That was
a
good.
great night. Always fun to be on here and f ready to talk about this stuff that's been going on.
Oh yeah, dude. I mean, you hit me with one of the best things of the day so far. You hit us up in our chat in our group chat. You reactivated the fantasy league, and we couldn't be more excited, honestly, when I tell you that. It's been a long time, and it's what we look forward to every single time. That's blasting, that's gone. Watching the TBS game. Oh, never mind. It's not there. Fantasy league. This is what we look forward to when I got that when you I think it was you again sent that picture of like 50 days away, and that was like a couple days ago. I was walking into the dogs game. I'm like, I got chills. That was immediately what I went to. I'm like, man, I gotta get back in my fantasy. I gotta get back into some more mock drafts. I gotta get back in the notes to everything. So it's here. It's time. Fantasy football. It's one of the best times of the year, Mikey.
Yeah, I can't stress it enough. The emotions that this brings to everyone involved. I mean, it's one of the things I look forward to the most, just adding so much onto a sport that I already grew to love.
Oh
So,
yeah.
I mean, how can you not enjoy it?
Oh yeah. I know I haven't been, flaunting it around as much as I should have. That's okay. It's a mixture of don't have the time and it's a little bit of growing up, but like I said, I'm gonna make sure you guys remember that how long and that I've had this title. So just remember that. Just remember. Uh
Yeah,
but
you
we
still
got
have
that.
it for a
Oh
decent
yeah.
amount of
Yeah,
time.
we still got that. I'll be having it for a long old time. It's gonna be great. But between fantasy, just football news, notes, and everything, we saw Joe Burrow just maybe a couple hours ago looking like Cody Rhodes. That was pretty cool. He's got to go finish the story as well. Uh,
Yeah, it's such a change from appearance. I don't know what he was thinking, but must be a big Cody fan.
Yeah, the ESPN push notification was like, "Hey, Joe Burrow doing an Eminem impression." So they're caught up in a little bit of the mid 2000s, but everyone else is agreeing, yeah, so he's just a neck tattoo short of looking like Cody Rhodes. But that's been fun. Quick personal update before we get into everything else. We got a couple of, like I said, we got some movies, we got some TV shows to talk about. Got a couple of video games to get into. For those that were swiping up and asking me, a quick update. It's not a beaver that was in my backyard that I saw. we believe it's a groundhog or some sort of gopher. So we
Hmm.
were close. We were close. So my apologies for not being aware and not being the biologist or just not being well enough educated. It looked like a beaver, and it's taken on my mother's phone. Like I said, it was a little blurry, so it kind of looked like the tail was a little flat. But it makes more sense that it would be some sort of gopher, some sort of groundhog, and it just kept making me think about the Caddyshack of Bill Murray just running around trying to catch that damn gopher around the golf course. So again, hopefully it's all good. I haven't found him just yet, so unfortunately he might have. We're
He
looking.
probably ran.
I don't know. We're trying to humanely catch them. Obviously, we got a little cage out there. We got some apples as bait, but looks like more ants have gotten to that than he has, or the gopher.
Oh,
So, might have to switch that out. So again, we're trying to figure. That was the thing. That was I sent that to you. I was like, hey, pet, like animal control was like, yeah, you got to get your own cage. Get our own cage. What do you mean we have to get our own cage? That's your guys's. I thought that was your prerogative. Whatever.
yeah, it makes no sense. And now it's been like a whole day since you called them, and it's probably ran away at
He
this
ran
point.
away, ran off into the alley, ran into someone else's yard. I don't want to be that guy, but sorry, someone else's problem now is it, and I don't want that to be the case, but it is what it is. Poor guy. If he wants some apples, he knows where to go. That's it's in my yard, guy. So like I said, I did enjoy. I did. Some people were just like the fuck, what's going on? Like I know it's not. We don't live in Minnesota. I was very confused, but
Yeah.
again, it not a beaver. My bad. Uh, that was a hilarious text. And it's just again, if you didn't see my story, it was just hey, make noise when you come out of the garage. We got a beaver in the yard. I go, what? How? What is this? So go Beavers, go Minnesota. Uh, let's go ahead. We'll get into some switching on over from personal to the big screen or to the mini screen, whichever we want to get to. Let's do the movies. Let's hit some
Yeah,
quick
we'll go
movies really quick.
call it.
Yeah. Let's do we went and saw Long Legs not too long ago, the Nicolas Cage new renaissance of his career. Some people can maybe say that to some extent. Getting out of the memification that once was his career and now into this new realm. And like I said, we're not gonna go too heavy into it, not gonna go super duper spoiler, just kind of would you recommend, would you not? Again, this is one of those A24 movies. It's just an A24 movie. That's just the perfect way to get it. And some if you understand, if you get it, then you get it. Those A24 movies can get a little bit out there. This one does. It's incredibly well shot for the cinematography, the images, everything is framed perfectly. There's a couple of like scenes where they're like extended a little bit longer than they should because like the characters will walk through like there's a scene where they walk through like a barn door and there's a field and you're like, is there something out there? Or is someone watching them? And what am I looking for? It's just scenes like that make you think, and they're just well shot. And overall, the story's okay. It's a little dry at times, but mixes in some fun stuff here and there. I think, and what I mean by that is Nicolas Cage's portrayal of this long legs character. So if you're ready for, if you're just ready for a story that's a little bit out there, and as long as you're open to it, have fun with long legs. It's not for everybody, I would say. Mike, what was your takeaway? What was your big thing? Because again, everyone's big thing or the trailer, and then just everyone the selling point was scariest movie in years and decades, 100% on Rotten Tomatoes. Did it live up to any expectations for you? What were your thoughts?
Yeah, I think
Woo-hoo.
there's this movie was kind of just marketing was a little too good for the movie. I was definitely very hyped for it. And yeah, was it the scariest movie of 2024? Was it the scariest movie in the past decade or whatever? They'll say like no. If you go into the movie expect to be scared, I don't think that's gonna happen. I do see people on social media say that they like thought that they were scared of the movie, and I just don't understand how you could really be
There was like
scared.
there was like a constant tension throughout there,
There's definitely tension.
yeah, it was eerie. You're just like, oh, what's the next like thing that's gonna happen? I'm not quite sure. So like, yeah,
Just I guess based on personally the movies that horror movies I've seen, just like this doesn't live up to the bar that's set to
yeah,
me to scare me. But I think it's very well shot, like you said. There's great performances in it. Now I love Nicolas Cage in the movie. He's not in it that much, but I think that if they had someone that wasn't Nicolas Cage in his role, maybe it would have been better, and that might just be me, but I feel like since everyone just knows how goofy and over the top Nicolas Cage can be, you just can't I just couldn't take him that seriously in the role and it's just sometimes that's just how it is with certain actors or actresses. You just can't take them out of certain things, and I
yeah,
just feel like he's just there's certain scenes where I just couldn't help but laugh because of how he is, and even though he's great in it, it's just I know it's Nicolas Cage, so
yeah,
it just couldn't. I was definitely laughing at times, but that's just a little thing. It
yeah.
was great. I thought it was a good movie. I don't know. I'd be running to the theater to see it again, but definitely, I'll probably check it out another time when it's out on streaming or something
Yeah, that
like
wouldn't be
that.
one of
But
those movies if someone said, "Oh, you didn't see Long Legs." Like, what's wrong? Like, no, you'd be like, "Oh, you didn't see Long Legs." Well, if you got the time, make sure if you're into that stuff, you can maybe. Yeah, it's just one of those casually. You should probably throw it on or something
I
like that.
like it's a unique thing that it's
Yes.
not run of the mill. There's always these generic, like, kill like slasher or something, just whatever it is, generic horror movies. It's always nice to see something try to
Yeah.
do done differently and in a different way that's not usually tried. So
Exactly.
I
I can
always
appreciate
respect
that
stuff like that.
yeah, I can appreciate that this is somewhat an original thought to a certain extent, and it's not, it's not exactly, it's not a sequel, it's not a prequel, because God, they're doing another Jason Voorhees prequel. That's coming. I think that's set up, and I just read all the comments like we don't need another fucking prequel to something like this is getting out of hand.
Yeah, another
Um,
introduction
yeah.
story.
My only if there were to be critiques for me in this in Long Legs was and I don't think again I'll say spoiler just to disclaim it, but I don't think it is a spoiler. There's the one jump scare with the doll that has the blinking eyes just for one it's just like why it's very unnecessary. It's just one quick transition scene and I'm like you stupid like that took me out of it for a quick second and I got back into it. Um, but again, just looking through my IMS, my digital, my media school mind, there was that one scene with the interrogation when he's like when they're super zoomed in on Long Leg's face. I felt like they should have just kept that just kept that close up that entire time, and you know pretend as if the audience we're just watching the tape and then keep it going and just long like maybe even like 3 or 4 uninterrupted minutes of just that close up and then slowly zoom out and then you're like oh we're not just watching the tape we were in the room with the rest of the police and police officers. Hopefully that made sense. Again, if you saw it, maybe that made sense. Did you remember what I'm talking about in that
Yeah,
scene? I
yeah.
don't know. Like I said, it didn't ruin it for me, but I felt like it could have been shot a little bit better. It would have been like, oh, because he kept. Nah, I'm gonna get into the plot if I keep doing that. So that's that. Long legs, not the scariest, suspenseful for sure, decent, but dry. I would say dry overall is my takeaway.
6.9.
Yeah, there you go. Nice. Oh,
I
so
think
there
that
you go.
that's accurate.
Yeah, fair enough. Um, speaking of, I guess 6.9, two new characters. Did you see the trailer that dropped today? I don't know, you might not have an image ready for you, but the Joker trailer again, another
I
part
did see that.
part do whatever that little saying afterward it translates to like madness between two and it's some psychology term that literally again it's where I guess hallucinations and madness can run between two people and that's what they're saying between this. I'm
Okay.
still on the fence just because I keep seeing it and it looks like it's going to transition into a musical and
That's what it is.
gonna piss me off to no end because I keep seeing those backdrops and they're just all black and they're just walking down steps that lead to nowhere, and I'm like, this is gonna get ridiculous. It's and then I agree, it's gonna be Joker, A Star Is Born, or whatever it is, that one movie that Lady Gaga was in as well. Again, you're ready, you're excited for this. I know it's gonna make a ton of money.
I mean, it looks good. Lady Gaga looks good as Harley Quinn, I thought in the trailer, and it's cool that Joaquin Phoenix came back to do another Joker movie because he said he wouldn't do another one after the first one, but they offered him a shitload of money, so money talks, baby. But it's
And then he
yeah,
saw that and he started laughing again.
it's gonna be a musical, confirmed musical. I think there's 15 songs confirmed that are gonna be sung in the movie, and yeah, I don't know how to feel about
I
it.
might, I might not see it. I might not see it now. That's my raw reaction to hearing 15 songs.
Yeah, that's
That is
that's
absurd.
what
No,
I've heard.
I'm not gonna go see it. I'm not gonna go see it. It's
It's
just
gonna
not
be
gonna
a
happen.
musical, and that's I feel like the marketing they're kind of tricking people if you don't know it's a musical. You just
It-
see that trailer and you'll be like, "Oh, this looks awesome," and
yeah,
then you'll go and see it and you'll be like,
you're gonna
"What
see a
is
lot of people
this?"
walk out. I, yeah, if you, yeah, that's gonna piss a lot of people off. And then you're gonna get the oh, you didn't know? No, I mean, damn, that's not exciting at all.
Yeah, I don't know how long they'll be like singing the songs for, or like I don't. It says,
If it's cracking 2.5 hours, no, no way. I'm not sitting through that. Sorry.
I'll just like
That's
setups. I don't even know how the movie will end, or I'll have to check it out because
to a
I,
certain somehow, some way I will see it. I wonder if someone can just edit and just post like, okay, here's Joker without the singing. And
the
it's
parts
just like
that
an hour,
matter.
and it's just an hour and a half long on YouTube or something like that. That would be much better. Uh, yeah, musicals, call me uncultured. I'm not interested. I don't care for it. That's not what
Yeah, I
I'm
mean,
unless it's supposed to be like funny. Like I mean, obviously, I think the Book of Mormon is one of the funniest things on the planet. If you haven't seen the Trey Parker and Matt Stone do their Book of Mormon musical, one of the funniest things on the planet. But that's like I said, their goal was making funny songs. This is supposed to be serious and like dancing with your breaking mind. Like, no, not gonna want that. That's not gonna be for me. Ah, it's disappointing. It's disappointing to hear.
oh
15 songs. Let's talk about something that's not so disappointing so far. And that's college football 25, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm
I
not
mean,
disappointed.
this thing is as hype as shit. I mean, from the intro video, from everything, it's fun and it's everyone wants to be a hater, say it's all reskin Madden and this, that, and the other. So what? Even if you want to be that bare bones about it, there's differences. There's a lot. I'm learning a little bit stuff through it. Then you learn a little bit of college stuff. The recruiting is cool, and I'm still training wheels for shit like that. But overall, I want to get your thoughts. You got the 3 day early access. Over 2.2 million people paid for the early access. On the first day, there were 700,000 that were playing at any given time. And that was just the people that were able to connect. I'm sure there was more
Yeah.
that were actually trying to get up onto the servers, but holy cannoli. What a launch. College football 25. What has been your thoughts and takeaways, Mikey?
I think it's been awesome. I mean, I've never had that chance to play a college football game when I was younger, so this is my first time being able to play a college football game, so I was so excited for it. And yeah, I mean, it's as people say, it's definitely similar to Madden in some ways, but yeah, I don't mind at all. It's got its own feel to it. It feels unique. It feels fast, quick gameplay. I love that. It feels like arcade style, which I like. Just should like they're gonna break tackles, fumbles are gonna happen. Like it's just gonna happen because
Yeah.
that's how college is too. So I love it. It's been awesome to play. re I've been playing Dynasty a lot, just rebuilding random school at Pitt Coastal Carolina. I've won a national
There you
championship with them,
go.
and it's
I
just
got
been so much
I'm working
fun.
on my Kentucky dynasty. It's for you, Troy. I got you. We're doing it at Lexington. We're going all the way. Kroger Field. There's gonna be a natty national championship in Kroger Field, baby. I'm
There
bringing
you
it there.
go. Troy will be there.
Hell yeah, he will. He would in real life, he would for sure. He would be asking, like, all right, when's our road trip? When are we going? If they made it that far, I would maybe consider, but I'm sure that's always a far distance. I mean, yeah, obviously the takeaway is just I've only had it for 2 or 3 days now, just because I actually went ahead and bought a physical copy because I'm an old man, and I also just wanted to do that little picture of like I have the NCAA 12 and 13. I'm gonna put it all next to each other and make it look fun. Uh, but doing the recruiting, that's been cool. Just the idea of the dynasty, the even the offline dynasty, if you're interested in that. The road to glory, haven't got around to that just yet, but even just the stuff that people have been streaming and you've seen online, you can you if you double triple text somebody, they can block you, just little things like that, and you're like, oh, should I go to the party or should I make sure I study for my test? And people are bugging. They're like, if you go the long shot route, you're like, dude, it's been 2 years. All I've been doing is taking tests. I'm go- I'm just at university simulator right now. This is ridiculous. So yeah, it's been fun with all that stuff. A lot of the one question I just actually saw is just like, hey, has anyone won a Heisman yet in their road to glory? And they're just wondering if you could actually do that yet. So, uh, haven't seen a ton of that. It overall, that I think the hype has lived up to the expectation. Going from long legs to not living up to it now. We're living up to the
Oh,
hype in college. College. I'm sorry. I'm just trying to make the connection.
a
It's been
long
fun.
like
Yeah.
stray.
Yeah, I'm just yeah, sorry, Nick Cage. Uh, but I mean, again, we're gonna be locked in. Sorry to the gal, sorry to the other widows possibly that are gonna be happening from this. I do have like a designated time and make sure we get a little bit of college football in every now and again because we're a part of a dynasty and we're part of a legit dynasty. We got
Yeah,
30 guys across the entire United States. I got Iowa. You're representing. You got Oregon,
I'm
right?
Oregon. Yep.
Oregon. Or yeah, it's Oregon. Uh, uh, yeah, everything's stacked up, and from our boy, our guy Bill, Wild Bill, shout out to him. The commissioner locking it, holding everybody down, making sure everyone's all good. It seems like we got a good group of guys. Like it's like Bill said, everyone, all the guys that were like hardcore, and even if they were like wanted to win, they all just kind of picked teams that they all root for to begin with. So there's a lot of good teams. I went with Iowa only because I felt like I need help on the defensive side. That was the best defense that was left when I chose. So I have no commitment towards any team, but when I started looking around and I'm looking at who's where, I went into the Maction section and I saw Northern Illinois. I think that might be my new squad. Like some
Oh,
to like actually start rooting for this year. I know they're not very good. That's not the point. I think we're gonna go with Northern Illinois because I love me some action. I just need something like that. So that might be the squad from here on out.
wow.
Always, again, because well, sorry, Triton College ain't in there, so we can't
No.
really root for them. And until Illinois Media School gets a football team, we're not gonna be able to. I won't be able to root for them either. So. I'll have to roll with Northern Illinois. Shout out my guy. I think one of our friends, Alan Stallings, went there. So former Husky. How you doing? So
It
yeah, should
sucks
be.
that we can't bet on them.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I know. Oh, can't bet on the Illinois teams when you're in Illinois. It's always a bummer. It's always annoying. But yeah, I always forget that when I hear like, oh, Notre Dame's against exactly like Illinois. Take the spread. I'm like, oh yeah, I'll look for that. Where is it? I'm like, oh, damn it. Yeah, can't get them
Yeah,
anyways.
so
Uh,
stupid.
Fix that. Fix that gambling. We want to bet on everything. Uh, that's fine. I mean, again, any other college football thoughts? Maybe
Uh,
anything we missed. Kicking is impossible. I had to figure
yeah.
that took a little bit to figure out, but that was cool. I'm
Yeah, I like
wondering.
those changes. I like just the changes they the changes they made, and I think it's been a good time all around, man. EA did
Yeah.
something right with this one, and
Yeah.
I've been enjoying it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So again, finally can we can tip the cap. I did like that one the Family Guy reference that people were sharing. It's just the bundle that EA came out with. It was going to be College Football 25 and Madden 25 for 150 and just like, "Oh, I will buy this." The college football is like, "Oh, okay, here you go. And we'll give you this for free." He's like, "I do not want it." It's like, "What do you mean? It's completely free." If that even touches my copy of college football, I will kill you. It's just like it's just exactly like that. Do not bundle that piece of dog shit Madden with college football right now. So yeah, and then
Yeah,
also the debate. Really, I know it's as of right now, it seems like we're both saying college football, but and people still calling it NCAA 25, college football 25. Who cares? We know we both know what we're talking about, so don't need to get it be a word Nazi about it. Or
for
yeah.
sure. One of my coworkers was just doing that earlier, and I see it's like, yeah, it's NCAA. I mean, college football is a stupid name anyway.
Exactly. Uh, yeah, that's about it. We can get into some. I'll get into the really quickly, just like the state of the union. But yeah, able to been so long, being able to not being able to have a show, not uploading, probably in like almost 2 months, I think, about a month and a half. It's just been tons of dogs. It's been Chicago dogs. It's been doing all those games and stuff like that. A little bit of freelancing here and there. Got some tractor pulls. But that's been the case. So it's just been dogs. But shout out to they're on their all-star break. We won't be we don't have another homestand until next Friday, I don't think so. We got some time off, which has been
Did any
cool.
of them make the all-star team?
Six. We had six dogs, and that's how hot dogs come. They come in packs of six, and they come in packs of eight. We got six dogs go. Narciso Crook and Jacob Teeter actually made the starting lineup. Both were in the home run derby yesterday. Unfortunately, they did not make it very far. Actually, Teeter was in a swing off to get into the finals, but just missed out by a home run, so that's unfortunate. And from what I was told, Narciso Crook's pitcher didn't help him out very much in the home run
Uh,
derby. But like I said, they both get the starts today. Brantley Bell also in the reserves as well as Nick D'Alessandro, and then over in the pitching area, we got John Baker and Joey Marciano, the Dog's closer. He's got a lot of saves this year. I think he's 2-2 on the year, his record, but he's got at least 10 plus saves on the year. So that's pretty solid. Pretty solid all the way
awesome.
around. Teeter, I think he's leading the league. He's leading the American Association in home runs or RBIs. He's got a lot of power numbers. He's like top five in average. Same thing with Narciso. He's up there as well. Brantley Bell, surprisingly, again, he's like second in the league in stealing, which he doesn't have a ton of wheels on him, but he's just an opportunist, it seems like. So it's pretty good for him. Solid. Every single one of those guys deserve it again. It's been fun to watch them. It's been fun to being able to broadcast their stuff and get them every single day. Between that, like when I do wireless and when I'm down in the dugout, it's very nice to just interact with them. They're fun to talk to. They're great with fans. There's a really good group of guys here at the Chicago Dogs. So it's been a ton of fun doing that. So while it's been taken away from time doing this, it's still been well worth it going over there and doing all that
Oh,
stuff.
of course.
So shout out to the boys, shout out to our crew. Tons of fun over there and all that fun stuff. So before we get into more news, notes, football stuff, I kind of want to just talk maybe just how I want to maybe shift our focus for the rest of the year on the show, just at least for the football season, maybe, and maybe for some other stuff. Uh, I'll just get right out of it. I think we're gonna try. I'm gonna do my best. I'm gonna invest, and I want to see what we can do about StreamYard. And I know we're on Zoom right now, so Zoom people or Zoom enthusiasts, close your ears. But we're gonna try and move it over to StreamYard. And again, I know I might not. I'm not just well versed. You can go live on Twitch and Facebook and other stuff on here. I don't know if you can do it all at once. That seems like what you can do with StreamYard. So that's gonna be the goal. So we go over there. We'll be able to we be able to go live on all the platforms on YouTube, on Facebook, and just like StreamYard in general or something like that. It should just be much more accessible, much more easier. Maybe even we'll have comments and people interacting with us as we're going, just to
Huh.
keep our dumbasses in check as we're just spewing out of our ass. Just stuff like that. Um, I think that would be cool. Like I said, my buddy Brandon, he does his show, Combs and Fits. They do their stuff. Shout out to them. They do it over on the Facebook side of things. And like I said, it streams all over the place, and it's just much easier for them to just get it up. Excuse me, get it up and up there without having to like go and edit. So it would just have to be, almost a little self censorship. We couldn't go too crazy with our vulgarity, but even if we do, it's kind of okay. We can do whatever we want to a certain extent. But yeah, that's gonna be the goal. Switch over, so platform switch, and then again, it's just what content we want to put out. How do we want to separate ourselves from the rest? I think, and if it's okay with you, Mike, I want to try and go more of the fantasy football route with this, at least for the football season. And when we get back into it, we'll get back at talking about everything else and try and have that. But when it comes to the football season, I want to start just really deep diving not only in our personal fantasy league like we have been, but just all over the place and really just make it fantasy football focused. When we talk about news, have it re-go into the idea of like, oh, this is affecting my fantasy team and stuff like that. So that may be the route I want to go with. I just also wanted to get your thoughts if you're cool with that. If we'll always just want to bounce off. I'm saying, like I said, like a town hall meeting right now.
Yeah, I mean, sounds very intriguing. Fantasy
Yeah.
football is one of my personal passions, so I would love to talk about that on a consistent basis.
And I think that would be the route. And that would open us up to, more mock draft oriented and just even we can dip our toe into stuff that we're not exactly we don't I mean I don't have like a one of the not a we do a redraft league every year. We don't have any legacy
No
leagues or something like that.
keepers.
We don't have a keeper league. We don't do the like the betting fantasy football one, like the daily fantasy football. We can maybe even get into that stuff like that. That's what maybe I can think we can start doing. It's obviously something we share so much of a passion with, obviously to the point where we've dedicated our whole lives to try and get this goddamn belt, and it's just something I feel like that's what we just shine the brightest in. Of course, any jerk off can just talk about sports and give their thoughts and opinions, but I think we shine the brightest when we talk about fantasy. It's just what I feel like we should go towards. So that might be the goal. If you made it this far in the episode, let us know in the comments if that's what you would want to see. Hopefully, like I said, maybe we can just become your guys' fantasy gurus from here on out. That could maybe be the goal. Again, I'm all up in the air about it. Every time I think about it, I'm like, what can I like give out the best? It's just I always think with my fantasy brain when it comes to anything. So that's my thoughts. So if you're good with that, hopefully that would be the case. Like I said, we'll always dive in and talk about the news and everything else. We won't be just robots. We'll keep it like nice and loose and how our personality will always shine, but have it be fantasy. And like I said, we'll rebrand. We'll see how it goes. We'll just see what we need to do. So that's just my
I'm
thoughts. Like I said, speaking out loud. Go for it.
yeah, I'm in for it, man. I
Oh
mean,
yeah,
I
glad.
always like to try something like that,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
why not?
Yeah, it'll just be so much more fun. Like I said, we'll get the boys on here at all times. So like we did that a lot towards the last season. We think we just got we maybe like one or two or three maybe that weren't on here with us. I think it was just AJ and Ivan. Just unfortunately just didn't get on with us during throughout the show. But that would be the thing. Try and get everybody on, talk about our fantasy, talk about our show, talk about even fan questions. That's gonna be the goal. So hopefully maybe we're a fantasy show from here on out, a fantasy football show.
Sounds very fun. And if we're
Yeah.
streaming live, like you said, and having guests on and
Having guests.
fantasy, or the people in our league can be watching and vice versa, other people around, it's just seems very cool.
Yeah, and again, the live aspect, it could also, if we're just shooting around, we need a mailbag. People can just throw it like, "Hey, I have a starting quarrel this week. What should I go with? Should I go with Zach Moss or should I go with Michael Singletary this week or something like that? We can sit
I
here and
like
debate.
that.
Just, I think that would be the goal. But like I said, we're bouncing around. We got media. We're into our football section, going from fantasy to the actual. well, what was there? Just more or less the TV shows that have been going around. I want to talk about Hard Knocks. I want to talk about the show Receivers as well on Netflix. Kind of a more or less like a compare and contrast. Have you watched? I know you completely watched Receivers. We saw the entire season.
Uh,
No?
I only saw the first two episodes of
Oh
Receivers.
shit. Okay. Okay. No, I mean, obviously you know what happens throughout the season, so it's not a
Yeah.
spoiler. So you can kind of yeah, I'm not focused on the content. What I was really going to be focusing on is just like how they shoot it, the idea of it, and maybe how Hard Knocks can maybe change up how they do it compared to how the receivers do it. Uh because I'm a fan of both. I mean, after watching, I watched Receivers all the way through. That's why we were a little bit later than we usually did. I needed the 15 more minutes to finish the last episode, and it was good. Overall, solid series. The only I didn't watch Quarterbacks. I think I saw only like one or two episodes of that, and of course, it's more or less the
Okay.
same thing. But Hard Knocks this year is about the Giants and it's the off season. So you're not really getting a lot of the players. You're getting more of the general manager and a lot of the talks about trades and signings and free agency and everything that's been in. You've seen a lot more conversations that you've never seen or heard before, and it's been fantastic. Whether it's Brian Dable saying he can run the 40 faster than Xavier Worthy, or just the talks about like, oh, what is it? I'm gonna lose sleep with Saquon as an Eagle, and well, sure enough, you've probably not been sleeping for a long time, there, owner of the Giants.
Huh.
But just hearing that, and then seeing the maybe the first conversation, the first breaking of like Brian Burns is available, like that conversation that the Panthers general manager and the Giants guy were able to have, like, oh yeah,
Gives you two ones for Brian Burns.
yeah, well, yes, and this and
Or a
that.
one and something else.
Yeah, wanted something else. Just hearing that, that's been so cool. I like this off-season version of the Hard Knocks. And like I said, I really like the way the receivers is shot because you're not following a team like Hard Knocks is, where, if you don't like the New York Giants, it's incredibly easy to just, I'm not going to check out this entire season. There's no point. But if you're receivers and you just like the individual guy, you have the opportunity to watch five different guys, five different people right here. It, I don't know. It's kind of hard. None of these guys are unlikable. I mean, maybe if you're like Devontae or something, I don't know.
What?
I don't know. It hurts. But I personally like all of them. So if for that one individual, like, oh, I think Justin Jefferson is a diva. I'm not gonna. You can just check out and not watch that. So I think that's really cool and maybe something that Hard Knocks can not steal, but maybe revamp and redo another way that they do Hard Knocks. And my idea was maybe similar to how they used to shoot Road to Road to the Winter Classic, how HBO used to shoot that, where they would follow both teams that are going to the Winter Classic, and eventually they will meet up and have a game against each other. So maybe a season down the line, Hard Knocks follows two teams building up for their week one matchup against each other, and then
Hmm.
that's how the final episode ends. It's just something that I was kind of flirting around with and cooking, and maybe that would be something interesting to work with. Because again, limiting yourself to just one team, it could affect you because I mean everyone's tripping about this Bears one. Obviously, the Bear it's gonna be tons of fun to watch what Caleb is gonna do with this whole revamped offense. Whether you're a Bears fan or not, a lot of people are probably gonna be chiming into this one just because it's the Bears. It's a historical franchise and a lot going on right now. Uh, but again, if it's a little bit niche, if it's like Hard Knocks, Tennessee Titans, yeah, you're putting yourself in a hole. You're putting yourself in a little bit of a hole. So that's why I like the idea of maybe having the chance of two. And I really want to, again, I'm bouncing all over the place. So I'll leave it off with this one. I really liked if this was the approach, if this was the idea, somehow, some way, receivers took five, obviously five of the best receivers in the game to follow, but you took guys from teams that were most likely going to make it far, and you got a ton of content out of it. So it was very smart of them to do that. So maybe Hard Knocks is a version of that. Maybe they keep it the way that it is. I don't know. So far, but I'm not complaining either way. I like how both are given. Any way I can digest football and behind the scenes stuff, I think is very good. So, well, yeah, I think I've been rambling, but any takeaways, any thoughts on how my Hard Knocks little thing? I don't know, Mike. I've been talking for too long. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I've only seen the first two episodes with the receiver, but I've enjoyed what I've seen. They introduced all the receivers and stuff, which I'm already I know them pretty well, I feel like, just from watching football all the time, but it's been very cool just seeing, just their personal day-to-days and seeing how they feel during games. It's always cool seeing the mic'd up stuff from games. I always love seeing those clips. Um, I've been watching the Hard Knocks more personally. I think just seeing the off-season stuff has been really neat, like
Yeah.
the GM and all these people in the higher ups like handle business, and yeah, it's not really too much
It's
stuff on the
just dudes.
field.
They're just dudes talking. It's so crazy. It's just short of them having a controller in their hand and them just like, we'll trade this. We'll throw in an extra seventh round. That one conversation was just like, bro, don't try and squeeze a seventh round out of me right now. Like, come on, we're trying to just be friends. That's fantastic. That's the content we want. That's great. Like, it just shows you they're just dudes. They're just guys being dudes.
Gotta love it. And you see him talking to Saquon and yeah, trying to figure out a trade for Brian Burns, like you mentioned, and it's been really interesting. The draft is gonna come up soon, so it'll be cool to see that process when the
Oh
draft is actually
yeah.
going down.
We were
So
saying this, the whole Malik Neighbors interaction. Like, how do you know? Again, it's very maybe biased mindset. You see Odunze and how he was answering questions. He's just like, yeah, I'm okay with this, and I just want to be a part of a winning team, and this, that, and the other. And Malik Neighbors, I feel like, was just giving every wrong answer, and Odunze was just giving you every like A+ answer, and they still went with Malik Neighbors. Just like, Malik, how would you feel if you didn't get the ball and they lost? He just goes, I would be upset. I would be mad. And then Brian Dable, again, it's kind of like in Ted when he's like going in for the interview and he doesn't want the job. He's like, you got guts. We need guts. He's like, fuck, I don't. No, don't draft me. That's kind of what I took away from that part, and it was again those conversations when they're having those rookie interviews, and uh, he's like, "Oh, what did you used to do back in the day? Oh, by the way, what was that play I just asked you about?" And they go back to that. He's like, "Oh, fuck, like that's yeah, they're trying to trick you. I'm not trick you, but they want us. That's how those interviews go. It's constant. Yeah, the player got to be on their toes. That's what it's the little things that can drive them away." And you've heard even crazier scenarios where uh just the you can look it up, just like what's some draftees have been asked just the most ridiculous questions before, just and that determines like their character to some. He's like, if you're walking down the hallway, are you gonna go to the right door or the left door? And they're like, I'll go towards the right door. He's like, okay, thank you. And they're like, that's it, that's the question you're asking me. You're like, okay, well, all right. You didn't hear anything on one of those, but this has been fun. Hard Knocks. It's been cool. Bouncing back to receivers really quick. Just because Hard Knocks has kind of gone away from, and they verbalized it too. They're not focusing on like cutting players, and again, I think that's fine. No need to like show them losing their job and losing out. But I like in receivers how they're showing, Amon-Ra losing. And at the end, again, like it's not a spoiler, like the Niners lose the Super Bowl. There you go in the locker room and you see how George Kittle and them are dealing with the loss. And as much as a pain, as much of a bummer that is, it's still really cool to see how these professional athletes overcome that and deal with that. And like, okay, you can still learn something from that and say that. I feel like that's just a big of a takeaway is as you know, just constantly trying to stay positive and like only showing you the fluffy stuff. Like, no, when you lose, it sucks. And this is the way to deal with it. And these guys, they handled it in a very professional way. So a lot of them do. Obviously, you see very early on, like Devontae Adams, like he didn't even make the playoffs. Like they just cut away from him, and like that's just it. Like that, and it makes
Yeah.
sense. So, and then the same thing with Justin Jefferson. Like they have a final coaches meeting, clarity and everything, and that's it. And then that's how
So
it's supposed to be exactly.
see
So
you next year for JJ McCarthy.
yeah, exactly. It's the reality of it, and sometimes it can suck, but it's again, it's that question of like, well, how do these guys deal with it? Here it is. They handle it like adults, and just it's good to see that to some extent. So you can, again, for those if you need like, kiddo, I don't know, some always think about the kids or something like that. You're like, yeah, it's a good example to still see and have. So that's the only thing I have finally, and the casual likes it. The anything, it's pretty. Even if you aren't into sports, like that whole, you're following a guy, you're following a receiver, you're following the most out there personalities in wide receivers. So I think that should be the goal. I hope they have another season of receivers. That would be pretty cool. So
Hmm.
yeah, that's that.
I'll have to finish it, yeah.
Yeah, definitely worth finishing. I would definitely get through it. It doesn't feel like they're very long. They're about an hour, but they hit a lot of good stuff. So it's cool. It's cool. Um, yeah, we got some quick NFL news we can pop through, and then maybe we can get to some wrestling or maybe a little MLB. How's that sound?
Yeah, of
All right, cool.
course.
Uh, I'll quickly just get through my Bears stuff. Officially, it's inked and signed and ready to go. Caleb Williams signed, sealed, delivered, as well as Roma Dunze, all done. So Nana Boo Boo, stick your head in doo doo. All the talking heads that said, "Oh, he wants a haul, he wants this, his contract is gonna change the Bears franchise forever." None of his big things that he wanted went through because they just weren't allowed by the league. Like you can't just have like you can't just not be a franchise tagged if they want to. Like that's just not allowed. So it took a long time because probably a couple of factors, and I think it was one of the two. One, he doesn't have an agent. He was having lawyers that aren't well versed in NFL contract lingo look at it. So it took a little bit of time. That's fine. And it also correlated perfectly. He signed it right when the Bears were starting their Hard Knocks taping. So was it? Yeah, I think he was playing up a little bit. He had his timing. He knew what he was doing a little bit as well. Bears might have had their hand in that pot also. So I'm just glad everything's done. To all those that were saying, "Oh, he's not gonna sign. He's not doing it." Shut up. Shut your mouth. You're dumb. I think Big Cat went ahead on a big thing. He searched Twitter. He made sure like everyone that he looked up Caleb and not gonna sign. And if anyone tweeted it, he posted everybody. He kept the receipts. So good. Keep everyone on their toes. I'm excited. Again, am I gonna sit here and say he's gonna win this and he's gonna win that? I'm just going to sit here and say, finally, there's some sort of hope. That there's any sort of inkling of a good quarterback in Chicago. So that's that. I'm excited. I'm rooting for the kid. I'm rooting for Odunze as well. Let's get this done. Claws up. Let's get this going. Bear down. Any thoughts on Caleb and Odunze before we get over to your Packer guys?
Hmm. Uh, it's gonna be interesting to see how this goes. They've got a stacked team on paper, so let's see what they do on the field.
Yeah, yeah. And again, if the expectation for a lot of people are, oh, division winner or bust, I don't think that's highly realistic. There's gonna be a lot of expectations. There's gonna be a lot on paper again, like you just said, on paper, a lot of good offense. This should work well, but could be growing pains, and I'm sure. So hopefully all hopefully there's some patience to some degree, but it's the NFL. Well, that won't happen. It's Chicago.
Uh,
Uh, so we got the guys signed, sealed, delivered. Still a couple other guys that need some signing along the rookie side of things, but also over in Green Bay, your boy Jordan Love holding out on practice until he gets his contract all figured out. You were telling me, and I kind of agree. It's nothing too worrisome. But again, when your guy is holding out, it looks a little. The headlines can get a little shaky. So, what was your takeaway? What were your thoughts about Jordan Love holding out?
I mean, yeah, you never want to see stuff like that, but it seems like he's still very well involved in what's been going on. He was at practice the other day still, just not dressed up. I mean, he was walking onto the field with Matt LaFleur, so they're not mad or anything. They're obviously having good conversations. I mean, the talks have been they're trying to make him the highest paid quarterback in the league, so if I can't see how you'd be upset about that. He seems all smiles about it. They're asking him about it at some event he was at the other day, and they told him like if you ask any questions about his contract, we're leaving. And then they asked him a question, they literally the agent was like, we're leaving. But Jordan Love was so like he was smiling about it the whole time. And it was like he seemed like he knows that it's gonna get done. So
That's good.
I'm just waiting for the announcement. I'm sure it's going to happen sometime this week, but
Does he deserve highest paid quarterback
I
in the
don't.
league?
It's 56 million a year is what some I don't know. It's a lot of money, but I think he's.
Yeah, that is.
I think that's. I think that's just how it is for quarterbacks now. That's the market, and if you want to lock him down, I think he proved himself last year, and the group of guys that he plays with like him. So why not build around with what you got? He obviously learned from Rodgers all these years, and I would hate to see him walk away to some other team and start cooking over there. So, I mean, why you just struck lightning in a bottle again? I don't see why you would just let it walk away like that.
And that has been my question with them. I won't be able to be answered until it happens, if it does happen, of the disconnection between Jordan Love and Matt LaFleur. I feel like Matt LaFleur is, literally the brainchild behind being it. He's just short of throwing the passes for this kid. Uh, I feel like I'm not saying that Jordan Love is out there being a mindless zombie. I think there's a lot of success because of Matt LaFleur. So I won't be able to prove that until if Jordan Love ever separates from the Packers, and I don't think that'll be the case either. I'm kind of with you. I think there's probably a deal will be struck soon. Very interesting. Like I said, to read that if Jordan Love is the highest paid quarterback in the league, it's gonna raise a lot of eyebrows. It's gonna be it's just gonna keep
Yeah, I
going
mean,
up. It's
I
gonna
could
it's gonna be
already see
tough.
the comments and everything.
Yeah, I
Or,
mean, God forbid they have a bad game or anything like that, or just not win the division to some degree. That would be crazy. They might not, because the Lions are still very good and they're gonna have a chip on their shoulder for
it's a
sure.
tough division.
Yeah, this is turning up to be one of the tougher divisions, if not one of the if not the toughest. But that might belong to the AFC North still. But we're gonna get to our previews of divisions soon. Uh,
It's just like the same. Like I don't feel the way I did with Rodgers, where it's like the whole offseason, I'm like, is he gonna sign? Like, is he
yeah,
gonna stay? Like, doesn't I don't have that feeling where it's with
and at least
Jordan
with
Love at all.
Jordan Love, you know where he is. Didn't Aaron Rodgers just come back from some 2-day retreat or something like that? He was just gone
Yeah,
again. He was in
and
like Egypt.
that's when he decided to flip-flop when he went on his retreat. He was gonna stay with the Packers, but then he was like, in my retreat, I decided I'm fl not staying. He's crazy. I mean.
Yeah, yeah, but I mean, from again, all speculation looking like it's going to be him and Devonte Adams reunited, at least somewhere down the line again during the season.
Yeah,
But
that's what
that's
Adams keeps saying.
yeah.
If there's anyone he'll ever get reunited with, it's Rodgers.
And again, I don't know if you got to it that just yet in your episode, but they have an interaction because the Packers and the Raiders play each other throughout the season. There's that once him and Devontae and Rogers have an interaction on receivers, and he just goes like, "Yeah, man, I've been thinking about our talks like all week, all day." So he has a very strong influence. That's a very it's a very good connection between those two.
Wow.
Um, yeah,
I
we
wish
got
he stayed, Devontae Adams. You should never left. They offered you money, but I get you thought it was you thought it was disrespectful, but I
yeah,
wish you stayed. You could have been cooking with Jordan
could have
Love,
been.
man.
He could have been. That would have been dynamite. That would have been crazy to see. And still with the other
And
young,
I did see
fast
the clip
receivers.
of him in receiver of him talking about the contracts, and or I don't know if it was the receiver or he was on some podcast with Shannon Sharp, I think, or something like that. But yeah, he was saying like he didn't know what was going to go on with Rodgers, and he was saying like if the Packers just offered him enough money and locked him down, he would have been ready to rock and roll with Jordan Love. He wouldn't have cared of who was starting, but they just couldn't get the deal done like they wanted, and I mean, it sucks to see that because he was one of the best receivers,
They
and
brought the wrong Raider over. They got Josh Jacobs instead.
yeah, I'm happy about Josh Jacobs.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see this offense. That's why I just want Jordan Love I want this contract to just get signed so I can just be full on like, let's get this fucking season going now. Let's go.
Oh yeah. So it should be fun and dandy there. How do we wanna tackle this one? We got some time left. We can get a little bit of wrestling afterward, but do we wanna do our word association game, that three-word game with the NFL teams and what we're gonna think their future lies for them, or did we want to go into the MLB trade deadline? How do we want to do
Uh,
this?
I mean, we can wait for the trade deadline maybe just because
Yeah.
we
Yeah,
were
that's fine.
mentioning that's, not much has happened right now, and I feel like more is going to happen next episode, so
Yeah,
it would be better to.
yeah, literally no big trade has happened since the beginning of the year, and I was mentioning that off air. It was just literally just the Luis Arias trade, and we can again, it's just
And as a
uh,
Sox fan, like the only thing that I'm
yeah,
really curious about right now is like what's going to happen with like
uh,
Luis Robert or Garrett Crochet
and
or
yeah,
those
that'll be
players.
my only quick question on that. Is just is there any is I only want Garrett to stay. Is everybody else in your mind expendable?
Yeah, I mean,
It hurts, but that has to be it.
I, I feel like everybody's up for
Yeah,
debate, but I mean, obviously, I want them to keep some people because you can't have a team without some stars. You have to build around some people, and yeah,
yeah,
I mean, you have to keep Crochet or Luis Robert. So it might be better to keep Crochet because a stud pitcher like that is always, I mean, it's good to have. It's Luis Robert is definitely he's a star, but I don't know. They could. It all depends what we get for these guys, and there's
of
so much that
course,
goes into play with this stuff.
of course.
It just sucks to see. We've talked about it before multiple times. The Sox were just playoff team a couple years ago, and to just see the
Seeing him fall off
decline
this
so
hard.
fast, it's just in that. And like you just know where they're gonna be bad for so long. Now it's just like awesome.
Well, it can they can get better if Jerry would spend, but that's not going to happen. Jerry doesn't spend money, so it's just it's that's the rough part. It won't Nothing will happen until that team is sold, and there are plenty of viable options. A lot of people want to buy and would love to buy. Maybe even Michael Jordan can own the squad, but yeah, just getting back into to the trade deadline, of course, in my mind. Garrett Crochet, he's slowly turned into possibly the best lefty in the entire league. So it would be tough to see him go. But in my mind, Luis can go for the right price. It's just I don't. He's not. He will do Luis Robert things. But it's just a matter of him staying healthy. At this point, he has not proven that he can stay healthy. Same thing with Eloy or Yohan Moncada. Maybe Tommy Pham, you can get a prospect out of him. That would be cool. I think Eric Fetty will for sure be either a Guardian, a Brewer, or a Yankee. One of those three. That's kind of be that seems to be the trend. Uh, and that would be the one thing. So, like I said, keep Garrett, build prospects off of these guys. If again, the White Sox have went from 20s in their farm system to mid teens. If they can turn the mid teens into potentially top 10 farm system by the end of this trade deadline, that would be cool. That would be the goal. Because again, it sucks seeing this the way that it is, and eventually just can the White Sox get 16 more wins and not be the worst team ever? I can't I can't
Oh
certainly
my
say that.
God.
I can't. Yeah, I don't see that happening. I don't see them getting 16 more wins in the next 50 games. It's really hard to sit here and confidently say that.
Yeah.
Uh, they're
I've
awful.
seen them they lead the league in walk-offs. I think there's like 9, 10 walk-offs on the Sox this year. They're just find ways to lose. It's
Yeah,
constantly. I like just the other night they hit a home. DeJong hit a home run to lead us in the ninth inning, and then they lost
yeah.
somehow in extra innings. And
Tied
I
it.
just
Yeah, tied in the ninth, and then the walk off for the Rangers. Wyatt Langford.
it's just like,
Uh,
how does this always happen to the
yeah.
Sox this year? It's just it seems
It's
like there's always something.
the
I know I never.
walk-offs, the amount of shutouts. I think in this current 8 game losing streak, they're averaging 1.9 runs a game.
Oh,
Fucking awful.
oh
There's
man,
no
that's not
offense.
gonna win the game.
Yeah, and it's not a quick fix, but Pedro Grifol needs to go. I mean, he is spineless. I don't know how he sits
Yeah,
upright. He
people
has
were
no
talking. At
spine.
least Tony La Russa stood up for the
Yeah.
players
And
sometimes.
I mean, again, it's not, and I'm sick, and I'm sick and tired of hearing, well, go hire AJ Przinsky or go get Ozzie Guillen. Guys, that I'm sorry, it's a lazy take if you're gonna want those guys. You're just taking just whoever names and throwing them up against the wall, and hopefully they'll stick. Ozzie Guillen, as much as I love him, the time is gone. I think he's not really into it. I don't think he would be fully committed at this point. And again, Brzezinski, as good of a baseball mind as he is at this point, he's just a podcaster. We need to recognize that. He has no credentials other than being just a catcher 10 years ago. So I'm sorry. And reality check is he has no has he coached even his son's high school team? No. So stop saying AJ Brzezinski will solve everything. It's a lazy take. So take all that effort that you're saying, let's go get Ozzie Guillen or AJ Brzezinski. Take 5 minutes and let's go find an AJ Hinch, somebody in the weeds, somebody in the minors, somewhere that actually has a baseball mind and has been coaching and leading men into victory, not just sitting here on your podcast, fucking, just backseat quarterbacking or backseat managing like you have been. I'm again nothing personal against AJ Przinsky. I love the guy. I love everything that he's provided as a White Sox fan. But it's just a lazy take right now of like, oh, that'll just solve it. You have no proof. You have no idea what's going on
Yes.
up there. And again, it could be like Ross from the Cubs from 2 years ago, where he would be a good players coach. But does that lead into success? Not necessarily. And again, when this guy has no prior coaching experience, you can't say that's the immediate. It's slapping duct tape onto a giant. It's like if the Great Wall of China was cracking, you're like, here's some Flex Seal, go fix it. That's not the case. So stop saying
does
AJ
fix
Przinsky.
it does fix anything.
It's fair enough. I chose a very bad product to do that. So that's my grief. That's just been what's been at my craw as of late with the White Sox and just the online talk.
No, I mean that's just what everyone on social media will
Yeah,
say. I mean, it's always the like memorable Sox players that should come in and save the day or something. It's
there's no there's no there's no evidence
because
to
it's just
show
always
me.
like the storybook, it's like the storybook,
Yeah,
like fairy tale,
yeah,
age like the former like player of the
yeah.
Sox comes in and like saves the day and leads us to a World Series or
This
some.
isn't Major League. This isn't Rookie of the Year. This isn't Angels in the outfield. This is real life. We need people and players and coaches that know what the fuck they're doing. We don't need just because he's going to be loud and he's going to protect our guys. That's going to be fun for a season. But when he doesn't win, it's going to be like, all right, well, what are we doing? Well, we're
Yeah.
back exactly where we were again. Now we just have a loud ass wipe here. Sorry, that's a little that's too far. I take that back. We're just gonna have some loud personality. And again, he'll be good for cutting audio and getting the post game interviews from that. But I see no evidence that would show me like, oh, boom, make AJ or Ozzie Guillen the manager, and that automatically equals 80 wins. Don't see
Yeah,
it.
I
So
don't.
sorry, went off on a tangent.
No,
White
it's
Sox.
understandable.
Yeah, White Sox do not trade Garrett Crochet is the is the takeaway from
We'll see
that.
how we'll see how that statement is
Yeah.
next week. Hopefully it stays valid.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so let's end the day. Let's end the episode with our NFL word association. How's that sound?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's go team by team. Just very, just rip the band-aid off. We'll go really quickly, rapid fire. All 32
Uh-oh.
teams. Your one word, three word max, maybe. We'll kind of trying to cap it off. What you're going to be associating with that team going forward for this season. So, just quickly, if we were going to say Patriots, I'm just going to say stinky poo poo. Like I think they're going to be very bad this year. So that's going to be what I think that's going to be what we're going to do here. So let's do exactly that. Maybe let's start off in the AFC East. We'll start off with the Patriots just because that was my quick example. I went off with the Patriots. I think it'll be bad. So stinky, stinky poo poo is going to be my word association with the Patriots. What are you going to associate the Patriots with this year?
Um, Patriots, I'm gonna say Mac is trash. That's
Mac,
what
yeah,
I'm
Drake, because
saying.
Drake May is in.
Yeah. They're gonna be bad. Mac's out. We'll see how the rookie does, but can only hope for the best.
Yeah, I was sitting there and legitimately, I'm like, all right, Drake May, sure. Ramondre Stevenson, okay.
Uh,
No, he's not there anymore. Tom Britt, no, he's not there anymore.
uh
Stephon Gill, no, he's not there anymore. Gronk,
Edelman.
no, not a clue who's on the New England Patriots. So that was crashing down to earth. Let's go with the Bills. How about the Bills? I'm gonna go with window is open question mark because lost Diggs and you lost Gabe Davis, and I think those two actually might be addition by subtraction. But overall, the AFC continues every year to get healthy and just even more stacked. So the Buffalo Bills window opportunity to even get into the AFC Championship, not only a Super Bowl, just to get into the AFC Championship is going to be tough. So that window is open. We'll
Hmm.
see. We'll see. What are you associating with the Buffalo Bills this year?
I'm just gonna say fun because of their rookie, Keon Coleman, who seems like an energetic, fun guy. Just seeing so many clips of him, just seeing so he's so funny and just I love seeing stuff like that. And he's gonna be one of their top receivers. So be interesting to see how Josh Allen handles losing Stephon Diggs and Gabe Davis and these guys around him. I think they lost Singletary too to the Giants.
Yeah, they did.
So it's gonna be tough for them, honestly. It's a different offense for him, but it'll be fun to see how it goes.
That is a very good way of looking at that. And to be honest, we're talking about the guys that we would want to see on receivers. Keon Coleman would be great for that show.
He would
Um,
be.
how about Miami Dolphins? Guilt to me, Miami is going to be guilty until proven innocent, and that is in the sense of they are not they're going to beat up the bad teams and they're going to lose against the good teams. They aren't going to win in cold weather games. They aren't going to win playoff games unless they're in Miami. So they are pretenders. I don't want to keep stealing words, but they are not going to be. They are guilty until proven innocent. I think they're frauds in every sort of way. So that is going to be my association with the Dolphins. What about you?
The Dolphins, I think of I am speed. So they're gonna be running so fast. They're running backs, receivers, they're Lightning McQueen. They got so many quick people on their team, so that's just the
Oh
first thing
yeah.
that comes to mind.
Yeah, their running back at Devon Achan is might be the fastest human on the planet.
And you
And
got Jalen Waddle, you got Tyreek Hill, and it's just
Raheem Mostert just retired and somehow you still the fastest team even without a guy like that, which is crazy. Or was it Raheem Mostert? Even I don't know. I think him, Kenyon Drake, someone retired. Uh, Last one, we got the New York Jets. Uh, I think that honestly, I'll steal yours for the Bills. This one's going to be must watch just to see everything that happens with Aaron Rodgers. He's going to be constant again. He even said it himself. Like anything he associates himself somehow that just like brings about hate, whether it's a politician or just being on a podcast or something. People are going to hate watch him. People are going to watch him, whether the fan or everything else in between. So the Jets will be must watch this year.
I'm gonna say Super Bowl contenders.
Oh, that's right. You had them in there, and I think a lot of
I'm
other people do too.
I mean, I said it last year, and I mean, I'll say it again because it's a just unfortunate thing that happened with Rodgers last year. That's just, can't predict something like that. But I mean, Aaron Rodgers, this is when he can be his most dangerous if people are, downplaying him. Maybe they don't think he's as good as he was before. You haven't seen him in a whole year. I just think this offense is going to be disgusting. Aaron Rodgers is, I mean, just from what I was seeing in the Hard Knocks last year, I mean, it just looked very good. And now you got your running back to full potential. I forget what's the
Brees
running
Hall.
backs? Yeah, Brees Hall. He's not hurt anymore. He's good to go. And you got Garrett Wilson. You've got the good offense. You've got the defense. That's never been a problem with Robert Salah. He's a defensive coach,
And that
so
may have been the only reason they had 7 wins last year was because of that defense. Yeah, I
yeah.
mean, Zach Wilson did not win them a game last year. I
And
can
good
confidently
on
say that.
Good on Salah to keep his composure throughout the year, and they rode with Zach Wilson most of the time until they didn't, and then,
Yeah,
but it's you just unfortunate, so excited in the Hard Knocks seeing Aaron Rodgers, the hype it's bringing New York, getting a quarterback like that to come to your team, just being on the Packers his whole career. It's just
yeah.
very sad how that season started, but just bring more excitement this season. And I think that they're Super Bowl contenders for sure if they get everything going.
Oh, without a doubt. We're gonna move on. We have the AFC East done. Let's stay in the AFC. We'll do the AFC North. Uh, let's go with the Baltimore Ravens, who won this division last season. My word, it would be an onomatopoeia. It would just be like when the ground shakes and there's that rumbling noise. That's what I would associate because they're just gonna run the ball. It's Derrick Henry. It's Lamar Jackson. They don't have Gus Edwards anymore. They lost out, and then they don't have J.K. Dobbins anymore as well. But still, this is gonna be running and running and running. Um, this is gonna be good for them. So and again, just hearing what Derrick Henry had to say, just like this or excuse me, actually, what Eddie Jackson said the other day when he met Derrick Henry in person. He's like he's humongous. He's like a created player in a video game and legit. So Ravens, just the like a rumbling sound is what I'm is my word. What about you?
Yeah, I'll say ground game there. The Lamar Jackson, the RPO, you got Derrick Henry, it's just gonna be discussing the options that they could do. Lamar has really never been known for his passing game, but this opens it up even more now that you got a guy like Henry too that can run the ball so proficiently more than any running back they've had on their
Yeah.
team. So Derrick Henry's on the downtrend for sure, but I think that this is going to rejuvenate him to be in this new offense, not a shit team like Tennessee. I mean, he can actually be playing for a championship
Yeah, I
this
mean to
year.
be fair,
So
they've been close. They haven't been in the Super Bowl, but I think they made an AFC championship game. If
they
not,
did. I
yeah.
remember they won that one playoff game with the
They were a
Derrick
one
Henry,
seed. They were a 1 seed 2 or 3 seasons ago, which is fucking insane to think
Ryan
about.
Tannehill as their quarterback. I mean,
Yeah,
that's just,
yeah. It just shows you the utter domination that was Derrick Henry
yeah,
on
I
the
was gonna
ground.
say he
Uh,
was just so good, and the
yeah.
fantasy stats I remember when he was at
Oh
his
yeah.
best are
Oh yeah.
insane.
Unbelievable. So I mean, and again, hearing what he had to say, their goal 100% is Super Bowl or bust. So that would be something else as well. It's just
Gotta.
yeah. At this point, again, you have MVP Lamar Jackson, whether he was deserving of it or not. MVP, he's got it. They need to produce now. They need to win. Um, Next up, we'll go with Cleveland. It, they're gonna be. Hmm, it's. I don't have high expectations for them. If they do well, it's not going to be surprising. But if they do bad, I'm not going to be like, oh, that's. That's insane. But I guess it's just gonna be Deshaun show up like that. That's gonna make or break them. Can we get old Watson? Will MVP Watson come back? So I guess that would be my association. It's gonna be all about Watson and what he does. What about you for the Browns?
Yeah, I'm gonna say $230 million massage.
Yeah.
That's, I mean, you give him all this guaranteed money, and I don't think he performed that well last year. There were a lot of quarterbacks that were better than him, and yeah, I get that that was really his first full year involved in the offense, but I mean, you got a lot of good players around you, and he just wasn't getting it done. I mean, it'll be interesting to see how he bounces back. I mean, he's got the potential, I think. He's got the assets, but
Oh yeah. Just added Jerry Judy, so should be that another solid piece right there.
getting Nick Chubb back will be nice. You know,
Yeah.
he suffered that horrible injury, but he seems all good to go now. He's
Yeah.
bench pressing like it
The
was seemed like a
defense
massive amount of weights the other
defense is
day.
a year older, sure, but still one of the most dominant in the league. This is a very good team again on paper. A lot of people are you can still get them plus money to make the playoffs, and I understand why because looking at it, the Ravens are odds-on favorite to win the division. Bengals might be right behind them, so they're kind of thinking that's a lock-in spot right there. Potentially stealing a wild card spot automatically in the Bengals or the Ravens, whoever doesn't win this division. So I can see where the plus money where that goes to, but the Browns have a good chance. Have a good chance of getting in there. Very light schedule.
For
Let's
sure.
go ahead. Pittsburgh. It's who's starting? Who's starting that week? It's gonna be the carousel of who's getting the most pressure. If it is Russell Wilson finally gonna crack? Is he gonna do this? Because again, I keep saying look at the numbers, but people are also like, yeah, if you only rely on the numbers, you're not gonna see that. Russell Wilson just straight up didn't perform well. Sure, sure he did, but again, it's he didn't turn the ball over. He will be the starter. Fields, I again we saw 3 or 4 years of them, and I didn't understand them. But again, everyone's saying, "Oh, I got the raw end of the deal." Whatever. Uh, yeah, who's going to be starting is going to be the thing. Who's starting that week is the question or the word. Ooh, Steelers. What are you associating?
Let's ride.
There we go.
It's a second chance for Russell Wilson in a new environment. Performed well at the end of last season and gets benched by Sean and Payton. Just didn't like him and just didn't work out. So they're riding Broncos will respectively ride with Bo Nix. And now let's ride in Pittsburgh, going to have a chance to
There you
cook it
go.
up.
Yeah. We got the Bengals to finish out the AFC North. I wouldn't say redemption, but I mean healthy, fine, healthy once again. You lost out on Mixon, but Joe Burrow is back. Or actually, no, I'm switching. I'm gonna switch it. So I'm gonna switch it actually to Trouble in the Jungle because that's what I was going with earlier. Because I had the whole T Higgins situation. Can they get back to their winning ways? Have all the outside noise be blocked out and just win games? So that'll be something to be interesting to focus on and see how they maybe recover if there is a downtrend or a fall off with the run game, losing out on Joe Mixon. So, what's your thoughts with the Bengals?
Um, I'm gonna say American Nightmare
Ooh, yeah, Joe
because
Burrow.
Joe Burrow has completely reinvented his image, looking like Cody Rhodes. Yeah, I think he wants to finish the story, like you were saying. So just motivating him to get that championship like he wants. Cody Rhodes reposted him. So I I love it. I love Joe Burrow. Again, similar to Aaron Rodgers, I think people will sleep on him because he hasn't been around since the injury. So you just kind of forget how good they are. And I think he said that on the podcast and part of my take. He's saying like people just forget how good you are when you're not playing. So you just got to
Yeah.
go out there and perform and, do your thing. So I'm excited to see how they'll do. And he's going to be the American nightmare for
Yeah.
against all of these teams in his division.
And to backtrack too, you said Rodgers in there. It's kind of we forgot to mention they came up with the top 100 NFL players, and he still made it at 92, having four snaps and one of them being his Achilles. So kind of crazy. You even like our boy Pete was throwing that in the chat, like trying to like he's only 92, and the immediate was like he didn't play all year. Then he still made he was still better than eight guys in the top 100.
Yeah, that's,
Of course, that's 100% based on the players and their voting, so rightfully so.
I guess it
It's
just goes to show how much respect people
yeah,
still have for
that's
Rodgers.
exactly what it is. We're halfway through the AFC, and again, for the sake of time, we'll just do the AFC today, and we'll do the NFC next time. How's that? Then we'll do that.
Oh yeah, we could do that.
Yeah. So let's finish off with the AFC South and West. We got the Texans. Hmm. I'll
I'm
start.
good.
Yeah, go first if you want to. I've been starting off.
Yeah, this one I'll say is exciting because I mean, I'm not a Texans fan, but a football fan in general. I mean, CJ Stroud obviously had huge strides last year to being a great quarterback. Him and Jordan Love obviously getting the respective comparisons, like people saying that they're both the new up and coming quarterbacks of the league. And the Texans and Packers both play each other this year, so that'll be a very exciting game. But yeah, I mean, just all around exciting. I mean, you trade for Stephon Diggs, you get Joe Mixon. I mean, you get all of these star players. You still have Nico Collins. You still have great receivers
Tank
around you.
Dell getting back in
Yeah,
it.
Tank
Yeah.
Dell and the defense, it's maybe the defense could use some work, but I'm sure they'll figure
Defense is
some
definitely up in the air, but this is a division that's winnable without a doubt.
Oh, for
They should
sure.
handle just about every one of these teams except for I think the Jag can give them a run for their money.
Definitely.
Yeah. Yeah, that was really, as soon as you said it, that was the word I was thinking. It was exciting. Exciting is going to be the word because again, it's gonna be very interesting to see if they can bounce back and replicate what they did last season. I won't hold them under the fire if they don't do exactly that because CJ Stroud just had such a spectacular year. It would be hard to just hold them just to that expectation every single time. But
For
exactly that.
sure.
We rattled off all those names, similar to how the Bears are on offense. There's all those big names on paper should be moving well. We got Joe Mixon, Nico Collins, Tank Dell, Stephon Diggs, the new acquisition there. What's their Dalton? Not excuse me, I was Dalton. Dalton Schultz, right?
Yeah.
Is
Uh-huh.
their tight end. So I mean, again, a lot of
I
offensive
remember I
weapons to
talked
work with.
shit at the beginning of last season. I was like, Dalton Schultz left the Cowboys and went to the Texans. Like, what is he thinking? And now it's like, oh, definitely made a right decision with
Oh
that
man,
move.
yeah, absolutely. Hold on, I'm just cutting this really quick. ESPN reports officials vote to remove the 12-6 elbow in the UFC and the 12-6 elbow ban and redefines a grounded opponent. So this can be interesting in the fight game. So of course, everyone knows the 12-6 elbow coming straight down. If they get rid of that, that could it could be pretty gnarly again. So that's
Oh man.
yeah, that could that fuck somebody up. I'm just yeah, dude.
Ah,
Yeah. So again, that's interesting to see. ESPN, thanks for the update right there, mid show.
thank you,
Um,
ESPN.
yeah. Jags. Um, it would be towards Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence, prove it. That would kind of be it. They need to go on a big. They need to go on an extended playoff run. They need to have some sort of victory. They need to have some sort of glory with this coming up soon. So I know again, being the AFC, it's so tough, but there needs to be some sort of gold soon because Duval County is dying for that one. So what do you got with the Jags?
Um, I'm gonna j-
Duval.
I'm gonna just say Tony Khan. That's the first thing that comes to
Yeah,
mind
that
whenever I
is
think of the
AEW
Jag.
for sure.
It's just the Khan family owns the Jags. They also help run AEW, so they've done cross promotion stuff with the Jags on AEW and stuff. They've had matches in the Jags stadium, and
Yeah,
they've done really cool stuff with them. So I always am a small fan for the Jags just because of that. But to Trevor Lawrence, he's a good quarterback. I don't know if he's taken the steps to go into that top 10 to be that top quarterback that he needs to be for the team, but they've got a decent offense, they've got a decent defense, so I think that they'll give the Texans a run for their money in the division, but they'll probably be the only team that will have a legitimate chance.
Yeah, because my goal, because I look at another team in here, and which would be the next one, the Colts, and my word would just be like fantasy football, because Anthony Richardson, Michael Pittman Jr., and Jonathan Taylor, all good fantasy guys. I don't know if that's going to translate to wins necessarily, because the Colts defense is still kind of up in the air to a certain extent. And again, this is a very wishy-washy division. So mine would just be fantasy leaders, question mark. I think a lot of these guys, Anthony Richardson is in like the top five and a lot of people's top tens for quarterback as long as he can stay healthy. Michael Pittman Jr. to me was Mr. Consistency last year. And when Jonathan Taylor was out there, boy, oh boy, he had a couple big games as well. So can never go wrong right there. If you get a full healthy season, Jonathan Taylor, he's gonna be a good viable fantasy option. So fantasy football when it comes to the Colts. What about you?
Yeah, I guess I'll say potential, like you're saying, 'cause they've got young players. They've got potential for Richardson to be very good. Michael Pittman can take more steps to being another star receiver. And yeah, I mean, Jonathan Taylor has had previous success in the past, so you can do that again potentially. So definitely a lot of question marks around the team. You're not expecting much from them, which is good. I mean, that's how
Yeah.
you want to be. So you can teams think you're going to be shit. They come in and maybe you can beat them and knock them around and score some touchdowns and rush all over them and throw all over them.
Yeah.
So,
My only thing is again with Anthony Richardson, got to be mindful they do not have Gardner Minshew to rely on. So if he goes down, it's going to be Sam Eisen or whatever that guy's name. It's
oh
not very
man.
good. Not the best backup right there. So Colts fans, you gotta make sure. Hopefully your boy, hopefully Anthony Richardson's shoulder holds on for the rest of the year.
All the eggs in the Richardson basket.
Absolutely. Finally for the AFC South, the Tennessee Titans, and similar to the Patriots, I just kind of have stinky poo poo. I don't think they're gonna be very good. My co-host Brandon Combs has them having 8 wins on the year, to which I brought him off to the side. I'm like, hey man, is there like some sort of substance use that we need to talk about? Because I don't know where the fuck you're getting 8 wins from. I'm looking at their schedule. I see maybe 3 winnable games for the Titans, and that's only because they're playing other similar shitty teams, such as like I think they for sure play the Patriots. I think they might have a game against the Chargers and they might have a game against the Cardinals or something like that. But it's like that. It's very bad teams. Everybody else it's I kind of see as a loss. So Titans, anything other than just bad stinky poo poo? What do you got with the Titans?
Yeah, I'm gonna just say shit. I mean, they've lost everything that could be feasible for this team,
They
and
lost their king.
yeah, they've lost, you get rid of AJ Brown. I mean, you can't imagine being a Titan fan in the past couple of years. You get rid of Brown, you get rid of Henry, you lose basically everything that makes your team a contender in any way. And it's kind of like how it is with the Sox, where you know that the Titans are just gonna be bad now for a decent period of time. I mean, until they figure some stuff out. So
Yeah,
just
again,
shit.
it was they're losing out on talent. I don't feel like them adding the talent that they did in Tony Pollard and kind of relying on another year of Will Levis. I think there's a little bit upside with Levis, but I just don't. You didn't really provide anything. You didn't give him a ton of weapons. If you're gonna sit here and say Deontay Johnson was the oh yeah we got Deontay, like no, that's not gonna solve anything. Uh, but that's that. We'll move on finally to the AFC West and bet and get through these
Hmm.
last few. Uh, how about the Chargers? What's your association with the Chargers? Excuse
Oh, lightning
me.
lightning and a bottle for them. I mean, you've got Harbaugh now. coming
It's
in.
Jim. You were right. It's Jim.
Okay, I didn't want to make sure I said the wrong
No, no, no.
first
I
name.
do that all the time too, but because I've been pulling audio for John, I now know which one is which. So you were right, Jim Harbaugh.
Okay, Jim Harbaugh coming in, very respected head coach, has played coached in the NFL before, gone to college, now coming back. I think the Chargers needed something like this because they've had a pretty shit head coach for a while now, and they've had a lot of talent on their team that's been misused. So they're getting like you're getting a chance now. We still got some decent players on the team. You lose Eckler, but he's been pretty bad, and
You lost
it's
Eckler, Keenan Allen, Mike Williams,
yeah,
probably
yeah.
like an offensive lineman or two, but they draft Joe Alt, relying on Quentin Johnston and Joshua Palmer as their wide receiver core, from what I understand.
They may not
Yeah,
be so much lightning in a bottle. Maybe it's just a term of, I guess, getting Jim Harbaugh, but the team will be interested to see how he coaches up Herbert, and he can finally get a decent coach now to
yeah,
hopefully bring him to the potential that he should be at, even though he has some bad receivers around him. Good quarterbacks can make it work. Just look at Mahomes.
yeah. I'll go with rid the yips, and I'll just be focusing on my brother Quentin Johnston. Hopefully, exactly that. Update and upgrade the position, going from being the rookie last year who had a couple opportunities and dropped the ball in some key positions, some key opportunities. Uh, flip the switch. Water finds its balance, make some key plays, get in there, have a solid season, get more than 5 touchdowns in this season or something like that. It just become a viable option. You can't sit here and say like, oh, he'll become the next Justin Jefferson. No, just become the next better number one on this team. Give because not only did they lose that, they lost a guy like Gerald Everett, who was just a target monster, who was just constantly open, and I felt like was Justin Herbert's just crutch at some point in time. So you become the go-to guy would be for Quentin Johnston and the Chargers, and for me, get rid of the yips is is my with the Chargers. Uh, we'll go with the Broncos next. Um, I'm just gonna go with boring straight up. There's nothing on this squad that I really find intriguing. I don't think Bo Nix is gonna be anything special. There's nothing on the defense that stands out. I feel kind of bad for Cortland Sutton. This is just kind of a no man's land. A lot of easy dubs and a lot of bad. Just gonna be a bad year for the Broncos. Anything with the Broncos?
Yeah, I'm similar to you. It's not interested really. It's just they've kind of just been going down, 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 and Bo Nix is their starting quarterback now. He's subpar, I think. I will be interested to see how he does in the NFL. Spent a lot of time in college, but they just don't really have many weapons on that team. And I don't know if Sean Payton's going to be the one to bring them to where they need to be. So I just am not that interested in
Yeah.
what they're
No.
doing right now.
Yeah, exactly that. Raiders. We have the Las Vegas Raiders. I'm gonna go with sneaky. I'm gonna go with sneaky.
Hmm.
I think they have some potential not to win the division, but to be another one of those wild card teams. Because Max Crosby, very underrated defender, and overall, if there was any takeaway again from watching receivers, if we're gonna keep piggybacking off of that, as much as they're like, oh, Devontae's gonna get traded, he was very much like what would be the word? He accepted everything that Antonio Pierce was bringing on. He didn't think he was fake. He adopted all the stuff that Antonio Pierce was about. So if he can get around it, and he was a constant leader, constantly a leader. So that I would always for sure would tip my cap to Devontae for that. It was Austin Hooper basically every single tough loss he came up to him. He's like, I thank you for still being our leader. Thank you for doing this during our tough time. So
Uh,
Devontae, that whole there is a there is a understanding and there is a fight. There's belief behind Antonio Pierce and that squad. So the Raiders believe in him. They adopt they subscribe to those narratives. So it's going to be that. I don't even know what word I chose. Sneaky. So sneaky because they're devoted. I think they can sneak in and get a wild card spot. I think that's going to be a tough place to play in Las Vegas. So
Yeah, I
Raiders,
mean,
what do you got? What do you got?
I'm gonna just say Devontae Adams. He is going to be his show. It's going to be his team. He's going to
Yeah.
be the star. So I'll be excited to see just him. I mean, he's going to be double covered, triple covered at certain times. And it's going to be tough for him out there, but good receivers get past shit like that. And I'm sure he'll still cook it up, and we'll be seeing highlights of him all the time. I
Oh
mean,
yeah.
Gardner Minshew, is he their starter now, or is
So
it
I
Aiden
believe
O'Connell?
he is their I believe he's listed as the starter, but that might actually be the only thing. There's it's they like Aiden O'Connell, but I think in my mind they should go with Gardner. I don't know why they
I would
wouldn't.
think so,
I mean, you can I think you can like both guys and still be able to get wins out of there. So
for sure.
that'll be the case. Yeah, finally, this will wrap up our word association for this week. It's the Kansas City Chiefs. And
Thanos.
that's a great one. Yeah, go ahead, elaborate. Thanos is yours. Go for it.
They're the they're the end all be all to get like I mean they're just the main
Collecting
villain.
rings.
Yeah, they're just collecting rings. They're the main thing that's standing in everyone's way, and it's just like it seems like that they can do anything. They can bend time to their will. They can make players. They just have superstar players. They just can trick people with their trick plays. I mean, whatever it is, they're just one of the best teams in the league. They win
Mastermind.
championships and they have everything that you need to do it. Great coaching, great players, great quarterback. I mean, just one of the best quarterbacks in a long time, and it's they have just they're the team to beat.
Yeah,
It's well known. They're like how the Patriots were when Tom Brady was just unstoppable, and everyone hates them because they just always win.
yeah,
It's how the Chiefs are at this point, so everyone will be rooting for them to lose, except for Chief fans, and I and I bet
Chiefs
they love
fans and
it.
guys that have PSA 10s of Patrick Mahomes on their like graded in their cards. That's who's voting. That's who wants them to keep on winning rings and shit. So I mean, yeah, go for it.
I bet they love the hate. I bet they feed into it. I mean, I've heard them say before, like they love being the villain. I bet Travis
Yeah,
Kelce and them love that stuff. They probably talk about it in the meetings and shit. Probably gets them hype even more. So,
yeah.
I mean, they're just one of the best.
They're looking for the dynasty. They're looking for the three-peat. Mine would be the equivalent of like I am him. Can I say like they are them? Would that be the equivalent? Like they are the team to beat until they are not. It's clear as day. Until until they lose a game in the playoffs, they're forever going to I'm just going to blindly bet money on them. I'm going to say they're going to be the winners until they are not. It's just as simple as that. They've proved they got better somehow and they still weren't even on paper the best roster and they still won because Andy Reid is just a mastermind and Travis Kelce is just such a good tight end and Patrick Mahomes might be the one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. Just even if he isn't the greatest quarterback, just one of the best football minds out there and just the way what he's able to do is just crazy. So they are them. They are the champions. Everything will go through Kansas City until it doesn't, until someone steps up and says, "Hey, I'm sick of them being older brother. We want the time. This time is ours." So until I don't know, until the Bills want to step up, the Bengals and whoever else, maybe even
The
the
Jets.
Texans, yeah, the Texans or the Jets, whoever wants to step up and take that crown off their head, someone needs to. So they are them. It would be mine for those guys for the NFL for the Chiefs, excuse me. So yeah, that's that. That's the AFC side of things. This was cool. This was fun. We'll
Yeah, I
try and
like that.
yeah, we'll try and do the NFC next week and do a little word association, kind of preview that because Yeah, we'll switch it up from last year. The last time we kind of went hardcore, like on the gambling side of things. We'll do that. We'll do that when it gets a little bit closer towards it. Because
Gambling.
I mean, yeah, gambling. We're what two? We got this Thursday, and then next Thursday's already the Hall of Fame game. My goodness, I love it.
Bears.
And yeah, talks about Caleb might play. We'll see how that goes.
Really?
It, it's
Maybe a
it's been talked
quarter,
about. It's been talked about. Me, I hopefully wouldn't even be a quarter, just because I
couple
hopefully gets like a
plays.
yeah, just like a drive or two. Because from what I understand, that might be the worst football field, like just standing on it of all
Oh,
time. So don't want him, you know, snagging a cleat on a bad piece of turf and down he goes for
yeah.
some time just because the field is so bad. But it would make the Hall of Fame game actually worthwhile and make it worth watching. But if he is a part of it, he's not. It is what it is. I'm fine with that. Any closing thoughts before we get on out of here, Mike?
It's been a great podcast.
Yeah,
Fun
love being
day.
back. It's been great.
Yes. Always a pleasure doing this with you, man. And
Yeah,
until next time, right?
yeah, absolutely. We got let's see. We got the next four straight Tuesdays will be wide open, so we'll be right back into the consistency part of it. And like I said, if I devote my time and actually invest into it and look into it, I'm sure we can get the StreamYard going. We can get the live streams going. That'll be cool.
Hell
Switching
yeah.
it up and going from exactly that, going from our little post YouTube stuff to we're just bang, we're live, we're in your living room, we're talking to you, you're commenting back
It
and
would be
forth,
cool to
interacting.
have the comments
That
in
would
the
be cool.
live.
Have our guy Troy, maybe Alan the Gator can pop in and out and stuff like that. Just whoever's, even if they aren't available, they can pop in for 5 minutes. Hey, if you got 5 minutes, if you got an hour, if you got 2 hours, if you want to stick around with us for that whole time, do whatever you got to do. That would be the fun stuff there. So that
For
could be
sure.
that'd be fun. So with all that, check please. Thank you. Very cool. This was No Substitute for Sports episode, whatever, because this is season whoever.
Whatever.
There we go. Exactly that. So, everyone, thank you for tuning in, watching, liking, subscribing, just following all over the place. Whether that, like I said, that's twitch.tv or whatever it is, YouTube side of things. Check out Bad Karma. Check out Low Blow Sports. Check out Blow the Whistle. No Substitute for Sports live and No Substitute for Sports right here on the YouTube. Mikey J Fat Cat, I thank you for your time and for your effort as always. And we thank you, Mike, Troy, Alan, everybody taking your notes. And if you're not taking your notes, that's fine. Cool. We love you. We thank you. Bye bye.